What's going on, boys and girls? Welcome back to another Final Fantasy 7 Ever Crisis video. Alright guys, we are going to be talking about some leaks. That's right, you know how this works. If you don't want to hear about data mining stuff, then please turn this stream off or turn this video off and go about your day. You'll eventually see this anyways. But the first thing I want to talk about, obviously, is the new chapter that's coming out. So the First Soldier Chapter 6 is going to be the next chapter that's being released. Now, I'm a little bit torn about this. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm actually very interested in this storyline. I'm actually the most invested in this storyline because it's the only original storyline that we have. Unless you've never played Crisis Core or the original Final Fantasy 7, then all of it's original to you. But this one here kind of has me a little bit torn. And the reason why it has me a little bit torn is I kind of wanted a little bit more of the Crisis Core storyline to continue going. Before we jumped into the 6th chapter already for the First Soldier. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all about Sephiroth and young Sephiroth and Glenn and the squad. And I want them to continue elaborating on that story because I think there's still a lot they haven't told us. But at the same time, it's a little worrying because I don't know how quickly the story's going to end. Like, where are they going to go with this? And I'm even more curious to see, like, once they've completed this mission, are we now going to be like going towards rebirth? Like, is the story going to catch up to that? Are any of these people alive? Or are we going to go to that cutscene that we saw in the beginning where Glenn confronts Sephiroth, OG Sephiroth, looking for Genesis? So these are all questions I have. They could, of course, release these chapters and then not release the last one for a very long time. That could be possible. But I have a inkling here that the First Soldier's storyline isn't going to last too much longer. I know there's a cutscene with Sephiroth talking to that kid at that giant chimney thing, so we've got to be getting to that point eventually. I'm just not sure how much further it's going to go because I would imagine that Lucia and Matt don't make it, hence why Glenn is on his own. Unless Glenn's storyline changes so drastically that he no longer becomes a P0 project and he ends up going to Mako Energy so he can confront Sephiroth and be on the same level. So, again, very invested in the story, but I'm just worried that this is going to end very soon. And I hope it doesn't because I think this has been the most intriguing story out of all of them. Clearly, because we already know the other stories. So, yeah, this is coming out very soon. I'm very excited to see what they do with the rest of the storyline. So that's something to look forward to. Okay, next up. Again, this is coming up, okay? Brand new dungeons. So Grastia Path and Lapana Coast. So Lapana Coast, we've done that already on hard mode. This is the one I believe with Gal and Baylor as the main boss, if I recall. I could be wrong. So they're going to change it up anyways, most likely. And then, of course, Grastia Path is actually a brand new one from the Final Fantasy First Soldier storyline. So this area looks very lush, very foresty. So it looks like they're going through the path to get back to where they're supposed to go back to. This area looks really nice. I'm curious to see what new enemies they're going to introduce because every time there's a new chapter, there's always a brand new enemy that's introduced with that chapter. And I'm very excited to see what this is going to bring. I'm wondering now if the debuff and buff costumes are going to make an impact on any of these enemies. Who knows? They might introduce an enemy like only poison affects them or only this affects them if you want to do more damage, etc. Right? They always may throw in little gimmicks, and I'm always worried about what did I do that I miss out on something. Okay, so anyways, this is coming out. So we'll be doing guides for the very hard modes on both of these, and hopefully we can get ourselves some brand new Crisis Dungeon items in the Crisis Dungeon store eventually. Because right now the Buster Store is the only thing we're going for. If you're brand new, obviously you're going to go for the Breach stuff as well too, and the Mithril Ore. Introduction of Mithril Ore back into there would be really nice too, because I'm personally running low. I've got like 50 out of like 50 left, I think. And if I run out of that 50, and I do the next one, which costs 30, then I have no more level 90 weapons that I can go for. So I think they really need to start reintroducing Mithril Ores back into the Crisis Dungeon. Because we're all getting like 15 to 20k coins now, just sitting around waiting for another Buster Sword. So we got plenty of room to spend, guys. So I hope you guys reintroduce something in there to make it worthwhile. All right, next up. Yeah, that's right. We got another dungeon coming up. And no, it's not wind like everybody else thought. Now, there might be an element somewhere like a secret boss. I doubt it, though, because usually they are what they say here. So Fire and Thunder. Yep. Fire, obviously, for the New Year banner that came out, makes sense. So I'm very happy to have gotten Cloud's New Year banner and Sephiroth's New Year banner. But Thunder, obviously, Murasame is going to be huge here. Everybody has a Murasame. If you have a Murasame outfit, you're probably going to dominate here anyways. So I'm curious to see which element is actually going to be more dominating, because sometimes the element you think that's more dominant, in this case fire, sometimes is actually the secondary element, and it doesn't actually show up very often at all. So this is going to be big. I'm curious to see what they do here. You can see the dragon, though, is an ice dragon, so fire definitely is going to be advantageous there. And it looks like one of the ruins from the First Soldier storyline, so it might be that landscape. I'm going to probably run the Misfits once through here to see how they do. I don't think they're going to do very well because I don't have any of their elements really at the end of the day. But I will try to run the Misfits in some of the very hard dungeons to see what score we can get from Red 13, Glenn, etc. Right, Barrett, what have you. We'll try to get some of them through there to see what we can pull off for you guys. Okay, so this is going to be the new dungeon ranking that's going to be coming out. I'm assuming it's going to drop probably in the next week or so. I might actually be on vacation. I'm actually on vacation from February 11th to the 18th, so I will not have access to the game besides logging in, but I'm not doing any videos. I won't have access to my computer or anything like that. I'm gone, like my first vacation in 5 years since having our kids, so we're very excited. I'm going to be technologically free for quite some time, so I may not even be able to be here for this to complete it, because again, if it drops next week and I'm gone, I'm screwed, because these only last for about 7 days, so I might actually have to miss this one, which is absolutely garbage because I went for this fire banner to take advantage of the next dungeon ranking. So we'll see what happens, guys. And then lastly, we have this one here. So dungeon ranking, Calpine Cavern. So there you guys go. I didn't realize this was actually the cavern itself. I should have put this first and then the next one there. So that's the big announcement coming up. Probably happening, I would imagine, in the next week, guys. Now, the New Year banner obviously is gone, so don't fret too much about it. As long as you have a good fire blow or a Fyra or a couple good fire weapons, I'm sure you'll be fine. Especially because you have Thunder most likely with Murasame. If you have the Thunder Garb, you're probably going to do really well, and it's nothing to really like concern yourself with. Plus, I'm starting to notice, and I think you all are starting to notice, the numbers for these dungeon rankings are starting to dwindle. So it's easier to get higher scores now than it ever was before. After this, I can only imagine we're going to probably get some sort of announcement for Rebirth with EC, because we're close, right? It's on the 29th, so we're going to be hitting 3 weeks away at this point, which is not very long. I mean, we're close to 3 weeks away. So I would imagine something with that banner is going to come out. If any leaks do come out, guys, I'll introduce them. Hopefully we get something brand new that's hype for this game, because it's kind of been a little bit of a lull. But everybody knows Rebirth is dropping on the 29th, so most people are going to be playing that as well as this. And this is going to be a very much a side game for a lot of folks. I'm personally going to be streaming Rebirth quite a bit, so hope you guys join me for that. Anyways, guys, this is Payne. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Take care.